Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guest tonight she's a cosplayer. She's an influencer for anti-bullying. Lauren Rain. How's it going, Lauren?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So tell me a little bit about anti-bullying influencer. What's that all about?
Yes. So when you hear the term influencer, I know a lot of people are a little confused because the word influencer could speculate from one end of the spectrum to the complete other end. But my story is I was severely bullied all throughout middle school, all throughout high school, and I was always the loner. I never really had any friends. I never fit in, quote. And so before I was homeschooled, because the bullying got so severe, I wanted to find a place to fit in. So this is my story. I went under Instagram. Mind you, I was about 13 on my little iPod Touch on Instagram. And I made an account. And I would go under hashtag bullying, hashtag suicide, trigger warning for anybody, hashtag, body dysmorphia, every horrible thing you could think of. And I would go under and individually go and DM every single person, I hope you're doing okay. You're strong. Stay strong. And I would make friends through that. Before you know it, in 2019, I blew up to 104,000 followers. I've always been a person that I never cared about followers, never cared about numbers. But of course, that did push me along in my platform. And I've grown fan pages and a whole fandom. And I've met so many other creators who have gone through the same thing as me. But unfortunately, in 2019, I got hacked. But I recreated my account, which is Lauren with a little dot, Alenia on Instagram. And I've been doing it ever since. And I've been sharing my story and promoting positivity and mixing in cosplay, which is one of my favorite hobbies in the whole world, along with anti-bullying and you're strong and don't give up and, yeah.
So what got you into becoming a cosplayer, and do you make your own cosplay outfits?
I do. So I've won a few awards. First place for about 4 cons now. I do make my own costumes. I have taught myself how to heavily alter costumes as well. I've taught myself so many skills and taught myself how to use a sewing machine, which my family always tells me, get into sewing classes. And I'm like, Mom, I can do it myself. Sure enough, I got my own sewing machine and I've been rolling with it. But yeah, I got into cosplay when I was, again, really small, 12 or 13, I would say. Again, being bullied, I was an outcast. But I loved video games at the time, and I still do. I'm a huge gamer. I loved Princess Peach, and over the years, I have mastered her voice and her mannerisms. I perfected the character to a T. So when I was 12, I was like, you're going to laugh. I was like, let's be Princess Peach. So here I am with craft scissors and I'm cutting my real hair into the shape of the V. My mother screamed. Okay. But yeah, ever since then I loved Peach and she was kind of my drive to make her costume. I have made 3 Princess Peach gowns. Of course, each one got gradually better because I've advanced and I've learned new skills and put more and more detail into each one, but I have sold them. And the recent one I'm working on now, I'm going to Fan Expo in PA to be Princess Peach. And I've been working on this for about a month now. So that's my story.
Yeah, so how long, okay, so you're making another Princess Peach, cosplay outfit. How long does it take you to plan something like that by sewing, stitching, and coming up with the, different materials? How long does that usually take? It has to take longer than a month.
Yes. So the actual putting a list together, this goes for any character. I've cosplayed multiple characters. I've cosplayed a few characters from anime. Corpse Bride, Tim Burton, Harley Quinn, Bridal Princess Peach, which is from Mario Odyssey, Zero Suit Samus. Like, there's a bunch of characters I've cosplayed. And I always bring these characters to life. With each character, I try to portray them and bring them to life as much as I can. But putting the list together and going out to Hobby Lobby and Michael's and Amazon and everything that I have to collect, it does take a very long time. But the actual sitting down at my sewing machine or gluing rhinestones or adding lace or trim or adding a panel, whatever I got to do, I tell you that I will be working on that from 6 p.m. at night till maybe 4 in the morning with no rest. That's probably why I take like 600 naps a day, but I'm usually up hours working on a costume that I'm very dedicated about.
So, what was your first convention when you were Princess Peach?
So it's kind of nostalgic. Wizard World, which is now known as Fan Expo. So they changed their name. I'm not sure why. But again, that's when I would have to say I was about 15, maybe. Mm-hmm. I look back at the pictures of me, like when I was younger, and I cringe because I didn't know how to style a wig. it was, oh my gosh, it was horrible. But back then it was a blast. And that's what you got to do at conventions, you know. I do enter cosplay competitions, and I always go into it with fun, you know, contest, but at the end of the day, it's almost like a big thank you from the cosplay community, because you get to walk on, you get to portray a character, you get to show off your work and dedication. So I always go into it with fun. But yeah, Wizard World was my first ever convention, and I had no idea what I was doing at all.
So were you a little nervous about, you know, cosplaying as Princess Peach, and were you nervous about the cosplay community? What they were thinking when you first came to your very first convention?
So I don't remember when I was that young, but I remember seeing so many people in crazy cosplays. If you go to any convention, no matter how small it is or how large it is, you will see that there are people who clearly have put a lot of work into their costume. And when I was younger, I would always be, you know, admired by those people. I'd always want to be like them. So with Princess Peach, each time I made her costume over and over, I've gotten more details down. I've gotten better fabrics. And she is a difficult character to cosplay. She is a fictional character. You know, the wig styling is a pain. Wearing 2 hoop skirts is also a pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that the majority of my friends and family will agree that Princess Peach is my most, like, iconic cosplay, which I love because I love her with my whole heart. And the reason I say that is because Samantha Kelly, who is the voice actress of Princess Peach, actually messaged me on Instagram, just telling me that she loves my work and my costume. And of course I was floored by that. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I also go to, it's a little small event. It's called Peddler's Village. It's also in PA. I'm from Jersey, so it's a bit of a travel. But it's basically like a little small, almost looks like a little town. And it has food and, you know, kids go there. So I dress up as Peach for every October. My cousin comes with me. He goes as Mario. And I go around taking pictures of kids and signing little autographs. Of course, I'm in character 100% of the time. You'll never see me with a phone. I don't know what a phone is. I'm from the Mushroom Kingdom. But yeah, again, like, I think Princess Peach is my most recognizable cosplay because I put so many hours and work into her.
You also cosplayed as Harley Quinn too. How did that go for you?
So I originally cosplayed as Harley for a Halloween party back in, I think it was like 2021. It was a Spirit Halloween costume, last minute. And then for a convention in Florida, Spooky Empire, I really wanted to bring her more to life. I am the kind of person that if I've cosplayed a character before, I always like to revamp it and always like to make it look as screen accurate and as perfect as possible. So I got a wig, a lace front wig. I've never used one before. I made the bat from scratch. The whole costume I pretty much hand sewn and dyed it and painted it and shredded. But but it was really fun. It was really fun walking around as her. I did have a little attitude all day, which was also funny. But yeah, again, a lot of people loved it, asking for pictures, and that's the best feeling in the whole world as a cosplayer, is not just only dressing up as a character, but it's the recognition that you get for the work. It pays off.
I bet you get some interesting characters that come up to you like stay away too, don't you?
Yeah. A lot of people recommend a lot of costumes for me, and personally for me, with cosplay, there's two sides. There is and again, no hate to the other side, but personally, it's just not for me. There is the dedication, the work, the craft, and then there's the sexual side, and girls that do that. I am towards the craft side because I've always loved art, and personally, I just don't feel like that really. I don't know how to word it, but you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't put me in a good light. But again, no hate to anyone who does it. Follow your dreams, do what you want to do. But personally, I go for the craftsmanship side of it.
So have you ever thought about doing any horror cosplay? Because I know you go to horror conventions. So have you ever thought of cosplaying as any horror characters?
Yes. So I love horror. Which is so funny because if you see me, I look like the teeniest petite little thing, but I love horror, love the genre. And I've actually been getting into acting. I had my first gig for a TV show that's going to be released. Again, incredible experience. And I do plan on making more horror cosplays. Corpse Bride was one. And I also made my own design of Ghostface. It was like a feminine twist to it, so I made the skirt, I shredded the back, I made the hood, so that's on my Instagram, you probably saw that. I also did Megan, the new movie that came out. I met Amy Donald, she's a sweetheart, so of course I had to cosplay as her, right? but yeah, I definitely do want to cosplay as more horror characters. It's kind of hard, because when you think of horror, you typically think of Jason, Freddy, Art the Clown, Michael Myers, like all these male characters. So for a female, it's a little tough to kind of come up with a horror character. But if I ever were to do another horror, I would probably do like a really sick and twisted version of Coraline with like a button and like just gore with that. Again, I love horror movies, so I get a lot of inspiration. But yeah, definitely gonna work towards trying to make a new one.
So you cosplayed as Megan. So did you get the mannerisms and the dance down? And
I did.
And were you dressed up as Megan when you met Amy?
Yes. I think I actually have the picture. I'll show you it after, but I do have the picture. And we're doing the pose where we hold our hands and our foot against. It's the cutest thing. She was floored by it. And of course, with that, I didn't just go as normal Megan, right? Because I'm Lauren. I did FX makeup where I had a piece of tin foil. It looked like, basically, from the movie, spoiler, she gets bashed in the head. And all these wires, and, she looks like ripped open on her face.
Yeah.
So I did that in the top corner of my face. I added blood on the dress. A little bit of diamonds, something to give it that little touch. And she was floored. Oh, she loved it. And just that made me feel, oh my gosh, the Megan loves my cosplay. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's pretty awesome. I did like Megan. I saw the theater, and I'm gonna meet her in August at Horror Hound in Indianapolis.
Okay, I'm telling you, she's a sweetheart. She's such a sweetheart.
Oh, I bet. I can tell. So did she do when you met her, did she do like the crazy little mannerisms for you or anything like that?
No, I walked up to her doing the mannerisms, and I think I kind of freaked her out. I think I freaked her out, but I immediately asked her, I'm like, can I hug you? And she's like, yeah. And then it, went from there. And, with cosplay, it's an art. Mm-hmm. So I've been drawing for God knows how long. So I also drew Megan in like a Bratz style Monster High twist.
Okay.
And she, again, loved it. So again, it's all the payoff reaction. You know, and it's that reaction. And for anyone listening who wants to get into cosplay that might feel maybe insecure or scared, or you're worried about what other people might think of you, if you want to do it, do it. It is such a great community, and it's such a fun experience, not just to do contests, but just to walk around in the character that you love and adore. It is an extremely fun event, and I recommend it for anybody. I really do.
Since horror is your favorite genre of film, what was that one film that got you to fall in love with horror?
Ooh, such a tricky question. Ooh, I have a few. I don't remember my first horror movie, but probably It. And now Terrifier. Hereditary. There was one more and I can't think of it. Oh my gosh. I can't, there's so many out there. I know it's not considered horror, but Corpse Bride. That was like the one movie that I was like, I gotta make that dress. I'm like, that huge wedding ball gown, I am doing it. And sure enough, I did it. And then probably Carrie, too. She's an OG, you can't forget about Carrie.
So, you love the Terrifier movies. Of the two Terrifier movies, which one was your favorite?
Ooh, that's difficult. I know you had an answer right away, but I love both of them, and I'm excited for the third one too, because I've heard that it's going to be the story behind art, and that is super intriguing. Super intriguing.
And of course, Lauren will be coming back too.
Yes, and I'm so excited. Again, I love acting, and I admire all the actors and actresses that portray in any movie. So I did meet them, and thanks to my agent, he is a producer, and he's amazing. He's helped me so much just learn the ways and the routes of acting and all of that. And I got the chance to meet the cast. Again, everyone was so great, and I'm super excited to see what Damien has next. Because Lord knows, right? But I know it's going to be great.
So, what got you into acting?
So, I don't know. I've always wanted to do it. I think it stems down to me with Princess Peach, which is, I know, a very weird comparison, from being with Tara and Princess Peach. But the way that I bring her to life it makes people that I know shocked. Like, they don't recognize me when I'm so in character. So I've always had a love for acting. I did plays when I was younger. I was in a pageant. So I love being on stage. I love, portraying any character. So when it was brought to me, I wanted to try it out. And sure enough, it happened. And, I'm going on my path towards it. And I'm so excited because I met so many amazing friends and people through the acting path.
Okay, so since you're getting into acting and all that, what are you? Are you an actress that's open to do all kinds of genre, or do you think you're gonna go more towards the horror genre?
So for right now, it's probably going to be open for anything, but my dream, my future dream is probably horror. Absolutely.
Oh, you could.
I mean, who doesn't want to be dismembered, right?
So you want to do? Oh, so you want to be covered all in blood and to be dismembered and have fun, right?
Either I'm telling you, either full on acting or the makeup effects. Again, I have love for both. So whatever my path is, I'm just rolling with the flow, rolling with the punches, having fun with what I do. Appreciating everything, and that's how you got to live life. You can't take anything for granted.
Oh, I totally agree with you. That's good advice to say to anybody, man. Do what you love, and don't let don't let anybody tell you different and stuff. I mean, that's pretty wild. So, are you working on any other cosplay costumes right now? What's the next one you want to do? What's the next one you think you're going to end up pulling off next?
So I'm working on Peach now. I'm going to be wearing that Saturday. My next one I might make I don't know. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. Probably something with horror, because there's a convention in August that I might be attending.
Okay.
So either Carrie or like some it's a video game character from, it's called Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Okay.
Her name is Alice Angel, and she's like a demonic like ink creature. She's beautiful. So I might go with that. And then, there's the cute side of it, right? Where I might just do Tennis Peach,
Oh man, you're in love with Princess Peach, man.
I know. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is about her. I mean, I've learned so much about her, and I got into video games at a very young age, and being young at the time, there wasn't really any other female protagonist in Mario. It was just Peach, and then Daisy and Rose. The others came along, but it was just Peach. And I always played as her, and I just kind of, I don't know. She's like my little shrine,
Maybe you'll do next you'll do a demonic Princess Peach cosplay.
I was thinking about that. There's a scene, or there's a version of her where she's like very dark. And again, I think it was a game that came out like years ago. So maybe people won't know about it, but yeah, or like Zombie Peach or like Peach walking around with Bowser's head in her hand. Like there's a ton of different ideas.
You got a little crazy little mind there, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, horror is my genre. I'm telling you. I don't know why.
So what was your first horror convention you went to?
Monster Mania in New Jersey.
Monster Mania. That is on my bucket list. I haven't got a chance to go to Monster Mania. It's on my bucket list.
That's when I was Megan and I met Amy.
Yeah.
And also Charlie Hunnam was there. My parents was floored about that. He is very tall, by the way. Very tall. Besides the point. But Monster Mania was my first ever horror convention. Normally I just went to, anime conventions or, just cons like that. But I think I knew that I would like a horror convention because, me, I know I would have loved it. And sure enough, we went. And there was so many cosplays and everyone was so nice. And there was all these like figures, which I'm a figure collector. So
oh, really? What kind of figures do you collect?
I saw all these figures of Ghostface, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like another place where I fit in, So Monster Mania was my first one, and I highly recommend it. Trust me, I recommend it.
So how many horror conventions you been to so far after Monster Mania?
Ooh, so I went to one Monster Mania, the second one, Spooky Empire, and Chiller Theater. I wasn't dressed up for Chiller Theater, but I did attend it. So yeah, about 4.
That's cool. You're worse than me. I go to tons of conventions too. I'll tell you, if you ever get a chance to go to a horror convention, you definitely got to do a Horror Hound. That's a real big one, and also Texas Frightmare.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Horror Hound's a cool convention. It has a cool film festival. You can watch like horror films and short films from independent horror filmmakers.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta send me that.
Yeah, you should check. You should. Some conventions have like indie horror film festivals. Those are fun to watch. Yeah. Where you can meet, different indie filmmakers and stuff like that. And it's also great to networking and all that stuff. And like you said, how you enjoyed your horror conventions. I love horror conventions because you're like a big family. Everybody gets along. Right. No one doesn't judge you. You meet friends everywhere, and it's just a whole different world than the real world.
It really is. And I think that, it is, there's a lot of prep time with it, especially from the cosplayer's perspective.
Yeah.
Because I have a week for this convention coming up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get this done? Am I going to get this done?
Yeah.
So there's a ton of stuff I have to get done, but it's so worth it. It's just the community of cosplay and just conventions.
Mm-hmm.
I think is such a great community. It really is.
I think it is because everybody gets along with everybody. There's no judgment. No one doesn't get bullied.
Right. Right.
And everybody gets along. I mean, people are like different, but once you're together in the horror community, there's no such thing of being different.
Right. And I completely agree with that. I agree with, that you won't get, bullied or made fun of for what you're into because you're there, right? And, I've always been into cosplay, so I think that my following understands that now. But there was a time where I would post my cosplays and the making of it, and people, of course, because online haters, right? Trolls, we all have them. And they'd be like, ew, what are you doing? Like, ew, why are you, like, dressing up as Peach? Like, are you two? Just people, I feel, this goes back to me just pushing, like, the fight to stop bullying, because now cyberbullying is, like, the main thing now. Of course, it's still happening in schools, but with kids having phones now, it just always on their phones. If you don't see somebody you like, oh, ugly, like they, it's horrible. And I always say this to my followers, like, you got to remember that somebody might have, I don't know, 2 million followers, right? And then there's someone who might have 2 followers. Either way, that's a human being, and that's somebody with feelings. And you don't know, if you make one joke, that could be the thing that pushes them over. So for my followers, if I see anybody in the comments, and I do get a lot of comments, so it's hard, but I go through and I scroll, just because I love my supporters and I want to show the love back to them that they show to me. And if I see anybody who has anything negative to say about anybody, or, whatever, I will immediately, like, either block or remove them. Because if you're just going to come onto my page and talk, like, you could easily, there's the door, like, it's all positivity on my page. Absolutely.
Nice. So where can everybody follow you on social media?
So I am trying to get back on YouTube. The grind is kind of lost, but YouTube, Instagram is my main platform. I do really do engage with my followers. What else? Twitter, TikTok, but it might be banned, so I guess that's not really important anymore. And I'm trying to think. And Snapchat, of course.
All right. So, will they find you under Alenia? Lauren Alenia. Yeah, that's how you say it. Yeah, I just want to make sure I say it right. All right. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
And everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop After Midnight.